So this is a great question. It's all people, process, technology. We just did a deep dive on the tech side, but this is the people side, leadership buy-in. What are your thoughts here, Ryan?
So I always think metrics, I've learned this a long time ago, metrics can solve a lot of conversations and discrepancies amongst departments. And in our world, there's basically two kinds. There is what I call business impact metrics, which every business leader should align on pretty quickly. Some of the things we've talked about, I guess in dental, what they'll say is butts and seats, but it's really, did the patients show? Are we seeing them? Treatment presented, treatment accepted, anything that really impacts the business and gives you the health of the business all the way down. So again, KPIs are going to be cost per leader. Cost per lead, cost per booked. What's our show rate? What's our cancel rate of the treatment that was presented? What treatment was accepted? That suite of metrics right there, it's really easy. Dummy a slide together, slide it in front of the team and ask them, does anybody disagree with these are some core metrics we should be using to measure our business? This is ones I want to see reported out daily, if ideally in weekly reports, things like that. The way I've always done it is what I just told you. Define them, get alignment on the definition, slide that in front of the table. And then the question on the table is, does anybody disagree that we should not be measuring these? That usually step one. Step two is each department, rightfully so, is going to have some KPIs specific to their world. And that's really for them to kind of put on the table and say, hey, here's the ones that I think are really key. It helps me manage my line of business. As the marketing guy, I might not so much care about some of those metrics, but I get it. They got to manage their line of business with it. In marketing, what I always call it's the vanity metrics, impressions, clicks, things like that. I haven't sat in a boardroom in 10 years where somebody's asked me, have we increased our impressions or clicks? As a marketer in the trench, it's probably a good KPI for you to know so you can make sure you're moving things in the right direction. But those aren't business metrics that the board or the business at the end of the day really cares about. So let's align on the ones that are really important, get the team wrapped around that, define what the reports are, define what the metrics are, slide that slide in front of them. And like I said, again, the question is, does anybody disagree that this is what we should be looking at? Opens up a nice doorway for them to bolt on some other metrics where we say, oh, great, I didn't add those ones in there. These ones really make sense. Let's throw that on here, then go build the dashboard appropriately.
Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah, I think Jessica had a pretty nice response here that wrapped that up in a tidy little bow. Setting standards creates proof of the score. Team plays to win. Nobody likes to lose, and reminding everybody that we're all in the same boat. So rowing in the same direction. And I think when we think about what we're talking about here, and this is concept that I've discussed with quite a few CEOs in the DSO space, is this idea of building an integrated portfolio, and that integrated portfolio is driving enterprise value. It sounds like there's been a pretty big market shift over the last 5-6 years, where there was a time where you could just buy up practices, slap them together, and then flip them to maybe a private equity group or someone else, or maybe a larger DSO who is looking to buy that up. But those times have changed, and now making that financial turn to your next partner actually requires you to build value in the portfolio inherently before you can flip it. So that idea of an integrated portfolio across people, process, and technology is really the culmination of all the things that we've been talking about, right? Have a tech stack. We have to align on the metrics and the KPIs that we're going to measure within that tech stack. We have to have the people all agreed on what those KPIs and metrics are and rowing in the same direction and delivering a consistent patient experience. If you do that, we should, in theory, create a DSO that's driving a higher EBITDA margin. Thoughts there?